read quite a lot of opinion about that, by the way. A lot of people felt, well, if you can afford to pay 250,000 naira over there, why can't you rent somewhere, come to the mainland? It's not compulsory, you stay on the island. But what if I work on the island and it's difficult for me to balance what I earn compared to the cost of transportation, especially in a city where public transport is not as effective as you would love it to be? Well, you can't move from point A to point B with such ease. You can't get a train that will take you from point A to point B with such ease. You can't say, okay, let me get to the station by 7 o'clock. I should be able to get to my office by 7:45. It's not a given. So it's not a risk a lot of people would want to take. Don't get me wrong. I'm not justifying whatever it is that went down in that place. But hey, you look at a lot of people saying, I work on the island, I have my own house on the mainland, but I have to stay on that place. One of my, even DJ Akinpele also talked about the fact that a lot of people work on construction sites on the island. They can't be coming from the mainland and going over there. But the question is this: everybody in Lagos don't have the same pocket size. Everybody in Lagos do not have the same financial strength. We don't all fall within the same social circle. So the government would need to show commitment to make sure that affordable housing is made available to the people, irrespective of a social status. If you want a 5-bedroom, well, that's your choice, you pay for that. But what I just want is a little roof over my head where I can put my stuff, face my hustle every day without being scared of flooding or somebody stealing my properties. It's as simple as that. So a mega city is supposed to be an all-encompassing city where everybody should have, you know, their standard, in quotes, everybody's opinion or everybody's interest must be attended to. Well, the next couple of days would really give us a different conversation to that. Maybe two hours notice, 2 years notice, whatever it is or whatever it was that was given. The next couple of days will also throw more light. Well, unfortunately, there are reports that about 80% of the houses on the island or in Lekki do not have documents. Well, it's okay. The rains are here, and what that means is that Lagos State government is trying to do whatever it can within its powers to make sure that we don't go through the problem of flooding. And it's all quick. Once the flood starts, the same people that are, you know, castigating the government for moving facilities that are obstructing the passage of way would say, well, the government didn't do enough. Yesterday when I was coming to the office, I, you know, moved down to Odoyalaro myself, and I saw it firsthand. The part of the fence that was put was sitting exactly on the right of way. But hey, people would always have their reasons, and then the government would always have their own issues as well. But the most important thing is that things are done according to the dictate of the law, and most of these things are also done with human face. If you say, oh, move out of this place in 24 hours, in 48 hours, where am I moving to? What provision have you made for me to relocate, even if it's a temporary solution? Well, I want to trust the judgment of the governor of Lagos State, His Excellency Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu, and also the people that are, you know, putting words out, the CDA chairman, the heads of the you know, resettlement or the LASRA or whatever agency, if it is LASURA, whatever it is. Please, everybody should just do some of these things, you know, so that when I bear the consequences of buying land or buying houses that don't have documents, I've already lost millions of naira. I also shouldn't lose my properties. I shouldn't lose on both sides. Yes, that was what we had on the show yesterday. But today we're going to be looking at two issues. Barrister Adams Atta will join me via the phone. I talked about the fact that I couldn't make it into the studio, you know, live, but of course I'll bring him up on the show, and we're going to look at two issues today. First off, on the 29th of April, there was a judgment that was given preventing the multi-choice, the operators of DSTV and GoTV, from increasing their tariffs. Yes, but then if you're part of the people that subscribe to that pay TV you know, channel, then you understand that they've gone on to increase those tariffs. Well, at the Competition and Consumer Protection Tribunal in Abuja ordered the interim order restraining the multi-choice Nigeria Limited from increasing the DSTV tariff. And of course, the order was supposed to be pasted at the firm's corporate headquarters or any known address of the branches across Nigeria. The chairman of the tribunal, Saratu Safil, made the order on the 29th of April 2024 and said the document should be pasted at the multi-choice known addresses, social media handles, or any means of communication publicly known for multi-choice. Okay, what the interim order did is to restrain multi-choice from increasing the tariffs, and it was granted in favor of an Abuja-based lawyer, Festus Onifade, who felt aggrieved by the multi-choice recent announcements to increase the tariffs on the DSTV and GoTV packages effective from 1st of May. Well, it's been a long drawn issue. A lot of Nigerians had also reached out to the National Assembly and say, hey, you guys should do the needful, you guys should protect Nigerians, the Consumer Protection Agency, you guys should do the same thing. Nigerians are a lot of issues back and forth. Of course, the operators have also said, hey, the cost of running businesses in the country is crazy. Cost of diesel, cost of servicing, maintenance, and all of that. Well, just today, the multi-choice challenged the tribunal's jurisdiction that restrained it from increasing the tariffs. That's for the DSTV and the GoTV. Well, it's just been on that line. Well, but if you have subscribed from 1st of May to now, then you understand that the prices have gone up. A lot of people are looking for alternatives, whether it is the normal or the abnormal one. But we're going to be looking at the legality of that restraining order that was given by a tribunal. Barrister Adams Otta will help us understand all of the issues around it today. If the multi-choice are right to have disobeyed the restraining order and gone ahead to increase their tariffs, what are the consequences of such? We'll sort it out. But the big story on the show today is the fact that for 15 days, the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria had not been in the country. And you need to listen to this. The president went to the Netherlands to have a meeting, a bilateral meeting, and from there he proceeded to the World Economic Forum in Saudi Arabia. The World Economic Forum ended on the 29th of April, and since then the president had not been seen in Abuja or in any official capacity or function since then. In fact, if not for some late 11th hour decision, the VP was scheduled to jet out of the country to Dallas to represent the president at the 2024 United States Africa Business Summit. And what that would have done to us is that we would have had neither the president or the vice president on the seat of power in Aso Rock. That means both of the offices would have been vacant, but there was a last minute change of plans. Of course, they said it was because of flight issue and all of that. We're going to be asking this question. One thing that has characterized this administration has been the huge gap when it comes to information management. The issue of the increase in price of petrol, there had not been any official statement to back that up. The Minister of Information hadn't released any statements. The spokespersons of the president had not released any statement. Even the leadership of the NNPC Limited have not done the same. I remember last week Thursday on the show, I asked Mr. Miwade, the chief political editor of Guardian newspaper, and I said, how can he rate the information management office of Mr. President in the last 1 year or thereabout? And that's the fact. The people managing the information had not done as much as Nigerians would expect. Prior to the 2015 takeover of the APC, you would always know that the opposition was loud and vibrant. Going into this administration, the first 8 years of former President Muhammadu Buhari, there was always going to be the former Minister of Information, Alhaji Lai Mohammed. He was always in the news. The spokesperson of Mr. President, Garba Shehu, was always in the news. Femi Adesina was always in the news. I mean, even if Nigerians have mixed interpretation to whatever the spokespersons were saying, but Nigerians were having conversation, information were coming out. But the last 11 months, it's been a mist of, information or lack of information. And what that does is it creates a vacuum. And when there's a vacuum, a lot of theories and issues will fill up those vacuums. In the last 2 weeks, I've heard the people say that the reason why there's scarcity of petrol is expensive is because some refineries are going through maintenance in Brazil and Singapore. Some people have said, oh, the NNPC Limited want to reduce the cost of petrol, so the fuel stations are selling off old stock. There's just been talks left, right, and center. And that's basically because the people managing the information for Mr. President have not done a decent job, so that there won't be vacuum and Nigerians will not start speculating. So we're going to look at these issues. How come the people don't know what exactly is wrong with the Mr. President? Where is Mr. President? He left Nigeria and it's 15 days. In fact, the World Economic Summit in Forum in Saudi Arabia ended on the 29th of April. And today is the 7th of May. What that means is that 9 days after the World Economic Forum was concluded in Saudi Arabia, the president are not returning the country. There's no official statement to say that, hey, the president is on private leave, is on a private visit. Remember when he went to France, it was told to Nigerians that, oh, he's going on a private visit to France. Now nobody knows where the president is. If not that there was a late minute change, the vice president would have also been in Dallas, United States, where now the Minister of Foreign Affairs is now going to represent the country at the forum. But the question is this: why are Nigerians left to guess what is happening to the president of the country? The president is not seen, is not been seen for a very long time now, and no official communication to that effect. Now we're going to look at these two issues today. So that's why I said we have everything all sorted out. But let's look at the issue of the multi-choice first. Barrister Adams, good evening and welcome to the show.
Good evening, and thank you for having me on this session.
Okay. First off, I really need to apologize for what happened. I think it's just part of the issues that are to be sorted within the Nigerian financial institutions, because even the banks or the financial institutions that promise you unrestricted access to your funds, you are not even giving you the access that you want. It's been a lot of problem in the last 48 hours for certain banks making some transactions. So first off, let me apologize for your money that is hanging somewhere, but also thank you for making it on the show today.
Thank you for having me, and my apology for not making it to the studio, even though it's beyond my control.
I understand, and the people even appreciate you for still being available for us. So let's get straight up into the conversation. I'm sure you listened to the narrative. I deliberately called you so that you listen to how the show would go on today. Let's look at the legal consequences, if any, of the decision of the multi-choice group, the operators of the DSTV and GoTV, to increase their tariff despite the April 29th restraining order that was issued by the tribunal in Abuja. Talk to us about that, and let's start the conversation from there.
Yes, you see that the Consumer Protection Act, which is a law that is exclusively reserved, or the body is established under that law to ensure that consumer rights are well protected. But it's so disheartening, and it's a bad thing that a lot of Nigerians don't even know their rights. And that is why people take Nigerians for granted. So I'm happy that somebody went to court and named in this hard economic hardship that the multi-choice are increasing their tariff, which is a bad thing, because of the fact that these companies are foreign companies, one, but that does not foreclose the fact that they can increase their tariff. But what is important is that even though you want to increase tariff, you must do it within a reasonable confine. You don't just increase tariff arbitrarily. You can imagine for a DSTV that is being sold, a dish that is less than 50 or 50,000 is now being sold for about 100,000. You can imagine I bought a DSTV decoder LED for 14,000 thereabouts. It's now being sold for 50-something thousand above. So how do you now marry? That's above 100%. So it's arbitrary. It's unconstitutional. It's wrong. It's because of the fact that the system is bad. The system is corrupt. I don't want to delve into that, but I want to be specific and narrow down my point to the fact that somebody went to court and filed his lawsuit in court. By law, when the matter is in court, both parties are supposed to maintain what we call legal status quo. Status quo presupposes how the situation is as at the time the matter was filed. Or alternatively, where there is any court order restraining any party from taking steps, you are enjoined to comply with the condition of that court order. You don't take the law into your hand. Nobody has monopoly of violence. This is a foreign company. Nigeria can decide to do. You are not ready to obey our own court order, because by virtue of Section 6 of the 1999 Constitution, the judiciary, which is the court, is set up to settle disputes between people. Somebody has gone to court. They have initiated a lawsuit against them. It's important for them to recognize that the court is the supreme authority that handles disputes between parties. Your customers are agreeing with you. They have gone to court to challenge your action. All you need to do is to engage your legal, your lawyer, your set of lawyers. Let them go to court and fight the battle. If you feel that what you are doing is right, it's not that you have the monopoly of taking the law into your hand by deciding unilaterally not to obey the court order. That's what we call contempt in contempt. There are two species of contempt. Contempt in contempt and contempt as contempt. Contempt in the face of the court and contempt outside the court, which the court can so much punish them. So I don't know why the government is silent about it. The court have made their order restraining them. It is now beckon on the executive to ensure that the enforcement unit, which is the police, ensure that this court order is complied with. Otherwise, we are going to continue to operate in abeyance. In abeyance is supposing that we don't have respect for what we have. This is the court system. So, what the multi-choice companies they are doing, this is not the first time they are doing it. They have been doing it as far back as 2001, thereabouts, wherein the court will make an order, they will refuse to comply with the court order, take the law into their hands, a foreign company for that matter. So I literally don't agree with them. Whether you are a foreign company, you are a Nigerian company, you must obey the rule of law. Nobody is bigger than the provisions of the Constitution or what the law has put on board. It's not constitutional. It's an attitude that borders on lack of respect for rule of law and constituted authority. Where we are not operating in a banana republic where people don't respect the rule of law. So for me, it's unacceptable and it's unconstitutional, and our government is silent about it. I hereby call on the government to do something forthwith.
Okay. Barrister Adams, thank you for leading us into the conversation. But I want to quickly bring this to you, that today, the operators of multi-choice have challenged the jurisdiction of the protection tribunal to give that, or the tribunal. I'm sure a lot of Nigerians are asking questions. Is this the increment has gone into effect because their lawyers are denying the tribunal with the issue of contempt of court?
Yes, let me say this, that where a court needs to be properly constituted before he can make a pronouncement on every matter. Constituted for this purpose entails that you must have jurisdiction. Jurisdiction entails the power to accommodate a particular suit. You cannot. There are some matters that the High Court cannot handle. There are some matters that you cannot go before the Court of Appeal. There are some matters that you cannot go to the Supreme Court, and then there are some matters that is within the exclusive jurisdiction of the Federal High Court. So you don't just lump them together and take the law into your hands. So it is settled in law that creation for this purpose to stay matter for them. But the point I'm trying to establish is that whether or not the court has jurisdiction or not, when the court make an order, you are until date that application have not been taken. That application for jurisdiction have not been had, has not been determined. That ruling of the court restraining the multi-choice, the ruling of the court ruling court has jurisdiction or not. Whether aside, and there are conditions to which the court can set aside its own decision. One is that it does not have jurisdiction. Number two, that the other party was not given fair hearing. You must give entails where properties are relevant and the court gives judgment. If the court and then jurisdiction entails the jurisdiction of the court to accommodate matter for 10 million, and then you go there before the same court and find fault. If for the choice,
we're going to really switch here for multi-choice. Only Father is seeking you to lacks the jurisdiction to regulate prices of goods and services under the FCCPA Act of 2018. He said that the senior lawyer maintained that the planned increase announced by MultiChoice on the 24th of April is a completed act because all the systems have been so configured. That means nothing will have changed the 1st of May, increment in the tariffs. Now we're here. You've established the fact that there's a contempt of court because there's a stay of execution or a restraining order that was issued on the 29th of April rather. And today is the 7th of May, and as it is now, the people are paying the new prices for the people that chooses to subscribe to the services. Where are we, and what are we expecting to see from here? Since the other people also have approached the court to set aside the restraining order on the basis of lack of jurisdiction, what exactly does this say to us? And on the final note, what are Nigerians facing, and what are we expecting from here?
Well, let me say this in simplicity. Once the matter is in court, ordinarily by our profession, we are not supposed to delve into the outcome of the matter, but this is a matter that is the public, is within the public now, and it affects the entire Nigeria. So my little knowledge, my little opinion is that both parties have joined issue in respect of this application for challenging the jurisdiction of the court. So once I do not know the argument canvassed by the claimant, which is the party that went to court that note, in opposition to that application for jurisdiction. I do not know the point he has canvassed. So I cannot. It is only the tribunal that can decide as to whether or not the jurisdiction issues raised is material to this proceeding. That is on that one. But for me, I think our government needs to do better. You have asked me what are we expecting. We should go back to our government. That is a starting point. What is the agreement between the government? Because the National Assembly sat, and then they sat, and then there was a resolution, if I recall, that the multi-choice should not proceed with the purported or the acclaimed move to increase the tariff. You will recall, or recently the National Assembly sat in pursuit of their oversight power enshrined in the Constitution. But I do not know why the executive is silent about this, because anything from the president suffices. So I think the government is behind all these things that we're doing. Let me know how that the government is aware. Because for them to increase the tariff, the government is aware. The condition precedent entails they must have written to the minister concerned. If Mr. President is aware of all this, because it is something that affects Nigeria in totality. So they cannot say that the president is not aware of it. That's why the executive arm of government are silent. Otherwise, the National Assembly has set up a committee. The committee sat, a resolution was passed, the matter went to court, the judiciary did their best by giving out a restraining order, and the executive arm of government is silent. So I think we need to go back to our government. Nigerians are silent about it. We are silent about it. I don't know whether they are going to be serious.
Thank you very much, Barrister Adams Atta, for helping us to go through this conversation. I know that it's something. In fact, the phone lines are buzzing already. I'm up in this one. Whether there's a stay of execution, whether there's a restraining order, whether there are jurisdiction issues and all of that, there are matters arising in this, and it will certainly need to be addressed as quick as possible. Well, let's step that aside. Let's talk about the issue of the whereabouts of Mr. President. I'm sure we all know that since the 29th of April, where the World Economic Forum in Saudi Arabia was concluded, the whereabouts of Mr. President, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, has not been made known to Nigerians. Are there issues, or from your own point of view? I know that the president has the right to whatever private visit, leave, or whatever health, whatever it is. But it's basically about Nigerians wanting to know where the president is? Are there legal issues surrounding this? Or perhaps it's just an issue we just allow to lie down. Whenever the president comes back, we just welcome him.
Hello?
Hello, I'm with you. Did you hear me?
When you talk about, when you say I want to be president, you don't just say it by saying sick. You must be fit and proper. It's so unfortunate and so disheartening that we are experiencing this in this part of the world. If you see, let me start from the immediate president. He promised us heaven and earth that he was going to recycle the health sector and everything. He came. I don't know, I can count about 20 to 30 times he traveled out of the country for his medical checkup. I don't want to delve into that, but I'm trying to narrow it down to what we are seeing now in our dear country. Because of the fact that the system is bad, the health sector is abandoned, the medical doctors are young, so people have the presidency and that. And on that note, by law, they should transmit power to the vice president. Yes, the vice president should be in charge. So I've never experienced a situation where the president will travel and then the vice president will also want to abscond from their primary responsibility. Because the constitution expressly states that where the president is absent, the vice president is to come in and replacement. That's what the constitution says. It needs to transmit. We experienced that when Yaradua was put at the point, even though it was hard for him. But we know for sure that the vice president then later became the president, took over what President Goodluck Jonathan. And then it happened under Buhari at a certain period of time. The vice president came aboard. So the constitution did not envisage a situation where the president will be absent, the vice president will be absent. It's all constitutional. And I literally don't agree with this government. You should communicate. At the point I agree with, I was so happy about our dear nation at the last month when I see Mr. President come out to address the nation. At least it speaks to the system. It's different from the immediate president that he will be speaking, and a lot of things will go. But now, where about Mr. President? All these days we don't know. It is a duty of the presidency to come out and tell that the president went on social assignment and went on medical this and that and everything. There is nothing to hide. Once you are a public figure, you are a public figure. Once you are the number one, you are number one. Not the United States of America. We experience that because our system is all done all over the world when you leave the system. So, assuming the constitution has said, Mr. President, when Mr. President is absent, the vice president is to step in. And then the two of them, they are at large. We don't even know their whereabouts. Who is now going to step in? Who is now going to transmit power? Is bad for our dear democracy.
But Adams, I know there's the conversation around the Freedom of Information Bill. Whether this falls under that category, we'll get to that conversation. But I want to ask, as a public officer, as a public office holder, someone that was not even appointed but was democratically elected by the people, is the president binded by the law to, at every single time he steps out of the sovereignty of his country, tell his people where he's going to and the purpose of the stepping out of his own? Are there any law, mandating Mr. President to always do that?
It's there in the Constitution. Yes. When you are living, that's why you see that at any time the president is going out, you see a press to that effect. There will be a press statement to that effect that Mr. President is traveling for this and that and that. To be a president is not a chicken of the nation. It's not a overnight assignment. Once you are president, you carry a lot of burden. Everything you do is now a news. If you like, step out from your house to go just go and do jogging. It's a public news. Because you are there as the number one thing. You are a public figure. Your statements can mar or mar a nation. So it's not yes, it's there in the Constitution. The Constitution says where the president is traveling, the vice president is stepping on board. So it's mandatory. It's not a matter of cosmetics. That provisions of the Constitution is not there as a matter of being cosmetic. It is there and it must be strictly followed. That's what the law is. It's there. So people have a right by law to demand for the whereabouts of their president. It does not matter whether you are from the east, whether you are from the south, whether you are from any part of the nation you are from. He is your president, because once you make a decision, the decision will bind on
binding.
Yes. So it's not the one-way traffic something. It's not the tribal something. It's not a religious factor. Because I literally don't understand why people will be from somewhere and then there was no reason objectively to want to support. I have not seen it in United States of America before, where the president will be absent, or where you see that the president will be absent, the vice president will be absent, or where you see that what's obtainable, the parliamentary system that's obtainable in Britain, you see that the prime minister is absent, and then the other part of the government body will feel otherwise. So that's how it is.
Okay. Now that we've established the fact that the president is, by law, is expected to always tell the people where he's going to. Oh, we're going to Egypt for this, we're going to Saudi Arabia for World Economic Forum, we're going to the Netherlands to meet with the Queen or to meet with the Prime Minister, we're going to leave this and that. That has been established. But let's talk about the people managing the information of Mr. President. And this is not even just restricted to this issue alone. The basic conversation around information management in the last 11 months, I would want to assess this administration in terms of how they've been communicating with the people. The president has an appointed minister of information. The president has special advisor or senior special assistant on media and publicity. I mean, there are people saddled with the responsibility of managing the information coming out from the presidency. There's also the media side of the president himself. Can you rate these things, or do you think these people have done well in managing this information? Because if you look at what we have, especially on the issue of this increment in the price of the PMS, today the NNPC Limited is saying, oh, there are 1.5 billion liters in reserve for Nigerians. Or the people are speculating that, oh, the reason why we have increment or scarcity is maintenance of refinery, reduction in price of these. There's just a lot of vacuum that is allowing the people to speculate. The same thing with the health or with the whereabouts of Mr. President. The former vice president, that's the PDP presidential candidate in the last 2 elections, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar also raised that concern. Deji Adeyemo had also raised the concern that, hey, where is the Mr. President? And we're also asking the people managing this information, what is expected of these people in terms of information management, and how well do you think they've performed?
You see that whatever you see relating to information from presidency or federal government is based on what their principal. Mr. President is the principal, is the number one. He's the one that gives instructions. So for all information that goes into circulation, the budget, who will take the budget, who will take the glory at the end of the day? It is the president. After all, they will say Buhari's administration. People will not call Lɪਧᴇ's name most of the time. They call Jonathan. A lot of people don't even know the name of the vice president under Jonathan. So if you do well, people will always recognize and align with your integrity. It's so unfortunate that in this part of the world, people look at your bad side more than your good side. People try to highlight, once you are in position, people try to highlight your imperfection as against your perfection. So, but the point I'm making is that this government, you know, is a continuation of the immediate government, because they are the same party. And you agree with me that the immediate government is in the business of saying, I don't know, I don't know, I don't know, I don't know. He will always talk of the immediate person, the immediate person, where that will be taken. But this one now, I literally cannot classify them because they are not giving us the adequate and necessary information we need as a nation. And it will affect the integrity and the image of Mr. President. So I think they can buckle up by giving us adequate and appropriate information that will not contradict themselves. How can you say that this is this and then it's that tomorrow. So I literally don't agree with them. Whether they want to start the mode of operation of Lai Mohammed in the past immediate government, I don't know. But that is my view over them. That's my view.
Can I just challenge this position? Now that you've stated on this space that the president is obliged to always tell Nigerians where he's going to and for what purpose his traveling is, and that had not been done. Yes, like I said at the start of the show, we knew the president was going on an official visit to the Netherlands. We also knew the president was attending the World Economic Forum in Saudi Arabia. Both of those official events were carried out. The Mr. President met with the government officials in the Netherlands, and he also was in Saudi Arabia to attend the World Economic Forum. But the forum ended on the 29th of April. Today is the 7th of May. Can I just challenge this status quo on the basis of the fact that I should know where my president is? I don't know where my president is. Where is my president?
To see that I often say that we should not, the best we can do is to speak out. When you speak out, I'm very optimistic the presidency will reply this week. The presidency will reply this week as to the whereabouts of Mr. President. So it's only when you speak out. Somebody says freedom is not given voluntarily, you must fight for it. You have to fight for it, and the best way to fight for freedom in this 21st century is for you to speak out. Look at now the big egg, the big wigs now, they are now speaking. @atiku Abubakar and some other bigger guys, they are speaking now. As we speak, we now put them on their toes, we pack them, we push them to do the needful. I'm very optimistic the presidency will reply as to the whereabouts of the presidency. And even the vice president is around. I think he will to travel thereabouts into 1 or 2 meetings. So the point is because people are beginning to demand or something otherwise. So the point I'm making is that we should not distract ourselves or overburden the judiciary. What is unnecessary? We need, the economy is decaying, insecurity in the nation, hardship in the country, no job, power supply, everything is on a low level. Look at the multi-choice we are talking about. You know how many people that use their products? We don't have our own products that can compete with that foreign company. One. Then number 2, look at the increment in electricity tariff. It's hanging up and down. Number 3, there's no job employment. Number 4, look at what recently happened in the respect of this coastal route from Lagos to Rivers and what we call Calabar. A lot of people lost their jobs. Government not saying anything about it. And then number 5, look at what is happening in the deportation of some people from Lagos State to Osun State. Whereas when the Osun State governor challenged the Lagos State governor yesterday, he really is not aware of it. You can see how government will put people in trouble. I'm sure he's aware, but he wants to hide. So, and a lot of other factors, no job, bad road, people are losing their job as a result of government construction. Look at the demolition 3 days ago or 4 days ago at the Ikoyi, and then series of a lot of lacunas in the system. So, and then we now go to court and to ask the court where is this affecting.
Barrister Adams, we're really pressed for time. So before we take our first break by 5 o'clock, I want to ask you, if not for flight concerns and last minute change of plans, the president is out of the country, the vice president would have been out of the country as well to represent Nigeria at the 2024 United States Africa Business Summit in Dallas, the US. And what that would have meant is that both the president and the vice president would have been out of the country at the same time. What risk does that expose the country to, especially in the face of all of these issues that are happening?
Let me start by saying that the Constitution is not everything. There is no clause in the Constitution that says where the president and the vice president are both absent from the country. Number 2, what the Constitution envisages, the situation where the president is absent, the Constitution says the vice president is step in a president. That is it. But in a sane society, nobody will allow the president, no reasonable president, because it will have adverse effects in the production of the country. One, if Mr. President is around, you see seriousness. If Mr. President is around, people will have that hope, people will have that joy. People will not do things anyhow. You will recall at the point before the death of former President Yar'Adua, to see that because Mr. President was not in the country, that it was being done anyhow. They have to travel out of the country, take some document for him to go and sign and all this, and everything. And even what happened in the state of recently, the vice governor was incapacitated in some posts to sign some documents, to do some employment, to award some contracts. You see, so it's more like the president is not in the country. You have asked about the danger posed to our dear country. And I'm now saying it, one, is that I've given some examples, and I'm now saying further that it will affect the production of our dear country. And then number two, foreign nations will not take our country serious. Nobody will want to work with someone who does not know the seriousness of the power. Yes, because assuming you take any step now, your principal can come and obstruct that step. Do you agree with me?
Yes.
So and it will affect the economy. The absence of the president and the vice president will affect the economy. It will spark up more insecurity challenges, and in a country like our dear country, it will may even spark up tribal crisis. Because you will see people playing politics, and then you see a plot to impeach the president and everything, in his absence and everything. Before you know, the system will be taken for granted. So by all aspects, it will affect our dear country, security-wise, economy-wise, tribal-wise, and then foreign investment, and all aspects. There are a lot of pending assignments. For example, now there are some files that are pending in Mr. President's office and Mr. Vice President's office. And once it's not around, who is going to assess that office? Body. So we do expect to affect the system 100%. Its whereabouts to be known to the state. The state with this purpose entails, under international law, entails the country, our dear nation. So that is how it is. That is a negotiable something.
Thank you very much, Barrister Adams Atta. Well, you've been listening to Mainland 98.3 FM, and the program is The Situation Room. This program comes up on the airwaves every Mondays to Fridays from 4 to 5:30 p.m. And we basically talk about issues of leadership, issues of governance, concerns around accountability within the public space, and then we'll always have individuals that can help us to understand some of these unique situations, sometimes complicated situations. Policies of the government will break them down to the tiniest of details. Barrister Adams Atta is a legal practitioner, human resource manager, and of course a public affairs analyst. And we've looked at two key issues on the show today. The decision of the operators of DSTV, GoTV, that's the multi-choice, to challenge the jurisdiction of the restraining order that was issued on the 29th of April, stop preventing them from implementing the increment on the tariffs that took effect on the 1st of May. I mean, this is an issue that had affected a lot of people. And let me break it down a little. The ripple effect is that the business operators, the people that uses those services for commercial purposes, viewing centers, lounges and bars, there would certainly be, surge in the price of some of these things. And for somebody that was moving from 4,300 to 5,007 to 6,003 now to about 9,003 for a certain bouquet, there's just a whole lot that needed to be sorted out. Well, Barrister Adams Atta has said that Nigerians should go back to their government, Nigerians should go back to their legislators, their lawmakers, and this is the only way there could be a workable solution to some of these issues. And the next one was to look at the absence of Mr. President. It's been 15 days that the president has been out of the country, and the whereabouts of Mr. President have not been known since the 29th of April, where the World Economic Forum in Saudi Arabia was concluded. Well, nobody knows where the president is. There's no statement to that effect. The handlers of the information from the presidency are not saying anything, and Nigerians have started asking questions. So I had to take, Barrister Adams Atta through the the constitutionality of the absence of Mr. President. Can he just leave Nigerians without telling Nigerians where he's going to? And my guest said no. The president is binded by the law to always tell Nigerians whether he's going for a private visit, he's going for a leave, he's going, whatever is taking him out of this country, the people should know. So we'll take calls when we'll come back, but by 5 o'clock we'll take the headline news. We'll also pay some little bills. By 5 minutes past the hour of 5, the show returns. I'll pick your calls and also read your messages on our social media platforms. We've got loads of them already. Well, it's facebook.com/mainland 98.3 FM. You can also follow us on X, formerly Twitter, on Mainland FM, and on Instagram and YouTube to watch us live, Mainland 98.3 FM. By Adams, I will need to take care of the line, take the headline news, pay some bills, and I will reconnect you when I come back so that I can hear what the people want to ask and respond when needs be. Thank you very much. Okay, the show returns in a few minutes, and then we'll pick your calls and read your messages. You have to listen to the headline news on Mainland 98.3 FM. I'll be right back.
Mainland 98.3 FM. Don't touch the dial. 98.3 FM. Don't touch the dial.
Headline news on 98.3 Mainland FM.
Good evening. Headline news on Mainland 98.3 FM. My name is Omobola Sandra. Lasema battle to save man trapped in underground drainage. 3 injured as rainstorm destroys over 200 houses in Plateau. JAM releases 331 more UTM results, cautions against fake score claims. Yusuf signs premarital health screening law to prevent sickle cell and HIV/AIDS. NLC and TUC give NERC May 12 deadline to reverse hike in electricity tariff. CBN issues July 7th deadline for POS operators registration with CAC. On a foreign scene, 4 dead, over 50 trapped as building collapses in South Africa. Indian election enters crucial 3rd phase as representatives battle. In sports, French President Macron could be set to intervene in Kylian Mbappe's proposed move to Real Madrid again. That's the headline news on Mainland FM. Details at 5:30.
When your whole world comes crashing down, please look up. Assemble the team. It's showtime. The brains waking up.
What'd you have for breakfast?
We are the sound of Lagos, and this is Mainland 98.3 FM.
You didn't see that coming, did you?
What takes a plate of jollof rice to the next level of goodness? Is it when it is cooked with non-sizzling cubes for that sumptuous taste? Or when you serve it with correct Nigerian salad, cabbage, carrot, lettuce, and a bit of kidney beans?
It's both. Season your jollof with the rich taste of Knorr cubes and serve with plenty of vegetables. So, go ahead and elevate your meals. Today, eat for good.
Build a hard water shield cement now confirm. #1 waterproof cement for Nigeria. Obonga cement for waterlogged areas. #1 waterproof cement for Nigeria. Build a hard water shield cement #1. Build a hard waterproof cement confirm. Good full stop for water wahala. With Lava water ships in May, water go collect. If water jam house, foundation and basement to call WG cement for water long areas. Number one waterproof cement for Nigeria. Cement, build our fast water ships cement and confirm.
Put full stop for water wahala.
What takes a plate of jollof rice to the next level of goodness? Is it when it is cooked with non-sizzling cubes for that sumptuous taste? Or when you serve it with correct Nigerian salad, cabbage, carrot, lettuce, and a bit of kidney beans?
It's both. Season your jollof with the rich taste of Knorr cubes and serve with plenty of vegetables. So, go ahead and elevate your meals. Today, eat for good.
Build a hard water shield cement and confirm. Number one waterproof cement for Nigeria. 𝐴 cement for waterlogged areas. Number one waterproof cement for Nigeria. Build a hard water shield cement. Number one. Build a hard waterproof cement and confirm. Put full stop for water wahala. With Lavag water ships in May, water to collect. If water jam house, foundation and basement to call WG cement for water long areas. Number one waterproof cement for Nigeria. Cement, build our fast water ships cement and confirm.
Put full stop for water wahala.
What takes a plate of jollof rice to the next level of goodness? Is it when it is cooked with non-sizzling cubes for that sumptuous taste? Or when you serve it with correct Nigerian salad, cabbage, carrot, lettuce, and a bit of kidney beans?
It's both. Season your jollof with the rich taste of Knorr cubes and serve with plenty of vegetables. So, go ahead and elevate your meals. Today, eat for good.
You're listening to Mainland 98.3 FM. The sound of Lagos.
Things seem anxious and uncertain. I understand the hardship you face. I wish there were other ways, but there's not. If there were,
in our quest to bring to the table issue-based conversation around nationhood and development, we have made 4 to 5:30 p.m. Monday to Friday the perfect time to welcome you into the Situation Room as we continue to build the narrative about public service and accountability.
Mr. President, this Senate needs to know. Mr. President, this Senate needs to lend its voice to the plight of these people. Mr. President, there is nowhere I can say it except here. This is why I'm elected. If I cannot say these things on this floor, sir, I better resign and leave.
As elections give the citizens the chance to make their political decisions, constant demand for quality leadership from those they voted into office.
Look at us, man, there is nothing. We are starving. Tinubu should please do something.
It's also important to having a Nigeria of everyone's dream. Join 𝐴̀okwẹ́yẹmí as it takes to task seasoned analysts, opinion makers, business professionals, and politicians on issues around politics, policies, governance, and leadership. Every Monday to Friday from 4 to 5:30 p.m. on your super dial, Mainland 98.3 FM will welcome you your mates as we discuss the situations.
Welcome back. We have about 20 minutes to say our goodbyes on the show, and I have to quickly link up Barrister Adams that are back on the show so that they can listen to whatever the people wants to say, questions or responses before we say our goodbyes by 5:30. And don't forget, on the dot of 5:30, the full bulletin would come through, and by 6 o'clock would come up for Sport Cruise, the Tuesday edition, the UEFA Champions League. PSG would be planned, or let me say, attempting to upturn a 1-0 deficit against Borussia Dortmund in the second leg of the UEFA Champions League. We'll talk about all of that, but you need to wait till 6 o'clock. But let's finish it up here. Before we went on that break, we talked about two key things: the issue between the court and the multi-choice group challenging the jurisdiction of the tribunal to give a restraining order on the increment in the tariffs of the subscription for their services on DSTV and GoTV. Barrister Adams established the fact that is a huge contempt of court, but because while the initial order was not stepped aside before the jurisdiction was challenged, the increment had gone into effect on the 1st of May. Well, my guests have sent us back to our leaders that we should go and hold them accountable. And we also asked the question, where's Mr. President? Since the 29th of May, where the World Economic Forum in Saudi Arabia was concluded, Nigerians are not aware of the whereabouts of Mr. President. He left the country, went to the Netherlands, and from there moved over to Saudi Arabia, and since then, 29th of April, today is the 7th of May. So Nigerians are asking, where is President Bola Ahmed Tinubu? If not for a last-minute change of plans, both the president and the vice president would have been out of the country. The vice president was scheduled to jet out to Dallas to represent the president at the 2024 US/Africa Business Summit. Well, they said on the basis of the fact that there was a fault in the presidential aircraft, that was why the vice president could not go. So if there was none of such, that means the president and the vice president will have been out of the country. And my guest, Barrister Adams is a lawyer, human resource manager, said, hey, it was not envisaged within the constitution that there could be a time where both the president and the vice president will be out of town at the same time. All of these issues are new to us here, and hey, maybe sometime next week we'll go back on the issue of constitutional review, how important it is for us to look at these issues, especially in line with our new development within the electoral practices of this country. It's time for you to join the conversation. You can call us on 0913-600-0410, facebook.com/mainland98.3 FM, and follow us on all our social media platforms. On X, formerly Twitter, it's Mainland FM, and on Instagram and YouTube, it's Mainland 98.3 FM. Barrister Adams, good to still have you back on the show.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you very much. So I'll pick calls now, and of course I would appreciate if you can just follow with us and listen to some of the issues that may have been raised by the callers. Hope you don't mind.
No,
thank you very much. Okay, let's talk. 0913-600-0410. Hello, good evening.
Yeah, good evening, sir.
Hello.
Good evening, ma. Yeah, good evening, ma.
No, my name is ᴏᴜᴛ.
Yes. Hello.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Your name and where you calling from?
Okay, my name is Wဃᴜᴜns Cʀᴜɪsᴇ.
Okay.
Yeah, I just want to thank you very much for the analysis of your guest and for all your efforts. The truth of the matter is this: we have been, a lot of things is happening. I can hear from your analyst. He said that we are not in a banana republic. But you can see, since 1960 to date, a lot of things have been happening that shows that actually this country is a banana republic. Because one of the core things that hold a country is the rule of law.
Hello. Okay, I would appreciate if you can call back. 0913-600-0410 is the situation room. And let me quickly correct something. The country is not a banana republic. My guest did not say the country is a banana republic. He said we should stop doing things as though we're in a banana republic. Nigeria is guided by the constitution. The government in power was democratically elected by the people at every level: local government, state, national assembly, and the presidency. So please, I would not appreciate if you come on this space to refer to this country as the Banana Republic. Thank you. Let's get things done. Hello, good evening. Hello. Okay. Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
Can you hear me?
How you doing, man? I can hear you.
Okay. Your name and where you calling from?
My brother Kenny for Sᴘᴏ.
Mr. Kenny, good to have you today.
Yes, sir. My brother, it is crystal clear that we are just sliding to a point of no return. I think every day we should be improving. But what I'm seeing, we are not improving at all. Every day things are deteriorating. And the leaders, they don't care, you understand, to backtrack, to reevaluate what they have been doing, if it is in time with what the people want. For you to be a good leader, you must be a good listener. You are not elected there to do what you have in your mind. You are there to do what the bidding of the people. You do the bidding of your employer. Employee cannot do his own because these are what I want. Do it according to my own. You understand me? You don't have a skill. You understand? But the reverse is the case here. It's just like somebody driving a car on a one way and you are driving speed. What do you think will happen? On the wrong lane, you are just firing. On the wrong lane, it's collision that will happen. This is what is happening here. And when you are telling these people, I don't know. See, let me just put it this way. There are the bunch of people that are leading us. They are the people that have failed in their private life or private business. They have failed their colossal failure in their private businesses. They don't have anything. They now use their last card to enter politics, to recoup the money that they have useless all through their period.
Thank you.
None of them, when you check, none of them have a stable business that this is what I was doing before entering politics. None of them. They are just hanging around the seat of power.
Thank you.
Around the secretariat of the political party.
Thank you.
Let me just get crash. All of them, they are great crashers.
Thank you.
That is why we're having problems.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much for joining us. And don't forget, tomorrow is also going to be an interesting space on the station. 1 to 3 p.m. It's midweek politics. Said Fuad and I would be here to also look at some of these issues in deeper ways than probably how we're discussing some of them right now. So don't miss tomorrow. 1 to 3 p.m. is midweek politics. Hello, good evening.
Waiting for that tomorrow to come.
Prince Wise.
Today we are with you. Anytime, any day we are with you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, my dear. See, number one. If you, Mr. Friend, wanted to go and urinate, you go to China anywhere. You go to London, you go to Saudi Arabia, you go from Saudi Arabia to France, you about to let us know. Even not today that we have from the one of the spokesman that say when the weekend Mr. Friend will be in Nigeria. We are expecting him. We want to wish him well. But we want to go to anywhere. Like a direct place. Where he is, what is it? But all goes in charge. For us.
Please, God spread our life. The people that it's interesting, but hey, stay with us.
Yeah, good evening, Mr. Pen.
You're welcome. Your name?
Barrister said we are not living in a banana republic. I agree. But sometimes, and Barrister tell us, you know, why the government will slam estimated bill on Nigerians. Why Nigerians are paying for what they did not
enjoy.
And we have the judiciary that has the power to declare that policy, that law unconstitutional. The present 1999 Constitution give them the power, the judiciary, Nigerian Bar Association, all of them combined to help this country. That no, you cannot tell Nigerians. So what I'm asking our analysts, I want you to tell this audience that estimated is constitutional or unconstitutional. Because even though it is a policy, it is a law, the Constitution gives the Nigerian lawyer to say no, this is unconstitutional, because when you are taking billions away from the citizens every month, it affects the economy because it reduces their buying power. For the Nigerian judiciary, they are just there aloof. It's 39. They have not declared any law, any policy unconstitutional. And that one is making me think otherwise. Well, what country are we living? The judiciary, you guys, you have disappointed Nigeria.
Thank you very much for joining us on the show. 0913-600-0410. Let me squeeze in one more call before I go on to read the messages that we have on our social media platforms. Hello, good evening, Mr. Tunde.
Good evening, Almighty God will bless you.
And bless you too. You're welcome.
Thank you. It's great to join you. We are really listening to it. But for the submission you are talking about, for you, and what thing I learned in Nigeria now is that for any program on the phone, you have to get the transport. And when you don't have senator and the House of Assembly, you have to get the discussion with the president. Then the second corner have already called it. We need leaders and we listen to all this is what they are feeling. But when they are doing something that is nothing for science, and they get money, they get all the blood connection, no problem. I will always think I love both things. I will put 2027 all of them. And what the things that happen in this country will let everybody know that things are not working because people are suffering. When you see me call the radio, I go to where people are practicing, so I can't work for myself. For the hospital, no problem. I call my family, I do this one. After this one, the one I say, that inside, I'm not ready to do this one for slow and get to after that one, by January 4th, I will get that one.
Mr. Tunde, for the first time in about 10 years, my subscription ended on Sunday, and I came back home in the night, put on my TV, and I was just looking at it, and I just told myself that why would I do this? There are no new stations added to it. Some of the contents there are really old content, by the way, and I'm supposed to pay increased tariffs on that. I just left it there like, well, we watch news and try to link up with other information via the sources. I mean, it's not really it's not a palatable situation, because somebody made a tweet recently that Nigerian consumers are the most abused anywhere in the world, because we don't exactly have laws that committedly protect Nigerian consumers. You pay for electricity, you don't get it. You have service on you have airtime on your phone, you have data on your phones, but you cannot make calls, you cannot access data, and nobody's saying anything. You have money in your bank, you cannot run the apps, you cannot do anything, and nobody is saying anything about it. You want to travel, airline operators will scam